And thank you so much, our learned speakers. So since we were running short of time, so we have decided to have the questions at the end. So you may ask questions to any of the three speakers, and they will be glad to answer your queries.
Dr. S.K. Jain, retired from NTPC after working for 35 years in the field of environment. My question is to Dr. Walia. Since morning we are talking about technocrates and planners. We have suggested so many ways and the status of the many energy transitions, etc. But Dr. Walian has pointed out very clearly in one line, for decarbonization an individual can contribute. And how individual can contribute, he has said behavioral changes. What I would like, if you can elaborate this point to the August gathering, how an individual can contribute towards the decarbonization. And Dr. Goel has given some points. If you can elaborate your point over this, how decarbonization can be, how an individual can contribute towards decarbonization. Thank you.
So on behavioral change, I can only explain through an incident when I had gone to Japan, and Japan had that, that disaster of the nuclear thing, and there was a power crisis there. So when we reached there, we were received by the concerned company officials from the airport and taken to their office. We found that the car was not so comfortable. So I said, it's very hot. They made it cooler. When we went to their office, we again found that it was a bit warm on that. They made that cooler. By the time we were entering that thing, I saw a notice there from the recommendation of the government that all personnel, citizen of Japan, private, government, or anybody, would perhaps use 27 degrees as the threshold for power, for the temperature. Everybody was following it. That's the behavioral change. Here any recommendation is given, nobody follows it. I apologize them that we didn't know that, and please put it back on that. And that's how do you respect, and really the cost of energy, I think we don't really understand, and that's why I pointed out that energy usage is linked to so many things actually, and therefore it's very important that we respect the energy and use it judiciously.
Yes, any other question?
In my opinion, though I am an environmentalist, so behavioral change in lifestyle management is more important than the technologies, and technologies are required, but the lifestyle management, the behavioral change is the first point which we have to undertake while working for the any sort of the pollution control or the decarbonization. That's it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, my name is Rajiv, and my question is Dr. S.K. Goyal. As you have mentioned that in Parali, which is right now getting used for biomass as an production for methanes and other thing. My suggestions and this that, when you are saying that if this Parali can be also used as in a decentralized ethanol productions, can it financially or scientifically it's possible? And if it is there, can we take up this kind of a project with the rural ecosystems? For an example, let's suppose there are, 8 and 10 village clusters. So there we can set up these kind of small decentralized ethanol production unit, and that ethanol, whatever we are coming, that can be rightly further used for, blending of ethanol in normal petroleum products and other things.
There are many options are available to utilize Parali. So the point is that what actually and how much we want to. No single technology will convert the entire whatever Parali is generated. The thought process becomes, if it is to be used for the ethanol, the entire Parali should go for the ethanol production. If it is going for bio-CNG, should go to the bio-CNG. So again, a mix of different aspects or different technologies has to be used. So one of them, if half part of it is going for this bio-CNG, in fact, it is a good source of paper manufacturing also. But very few are inclined towards that because of the water pollution issues.
So is like NEERI is working something on that regard?
Yeah, we are working on this aspect, and we are looking from the air pollution point of view again.
Right.
So now the need has come that though the thought process is that the air pollution should be controlled, and the control is there where how to utilize the biomass. And since the availability is limited to 2-3 months, then how the round the year availability of the fuel has to be ensured for the industry, because they will look for the availability for the entire year. So a lot of things are there which biomass can be utilized. I mean, those things are being worked out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. My question is to Dr. Alok Sharma. Thanks for a very excellent presentation you have given. I would like to only know whether any brown hydrogen which is being produced in some of your refineries are going to be used in all refineries to reduce the carbon dioxide emission vis-a-vis SO2 emission. As I feel that this is one of the very good option to reduce the SO2 pollution load from the refineries which are facing problem because some of the refineries are located in a sensitive area. So what is the plan of the IOCL or CST to use the brown hydrogen produced in the boiler of their own refineries?
You are talking about brown or grey hydrogen?
Any hydrogen?
Grey, of course. So, see, as such, there are no plans, but there are some like projects being talked of using CO2 for methanol production, because we have CO2, we have hydrogen. So we can produce methanol also from that way. But to use hydrogen in refinery as such, it's not there. But there are projects which are being worked upon by using this grey hydrogen in different countries. They are using it for power production also directly. So that is there. But Indian Oil, it is not there right now, sir. Yeah. Green hydrogen, of course, I told you, by 2030, there are plans of replacing 126,000 tons per annum of hydrogen, the grey hydrogen, with the green hydrogen. For that, electrolyzers are being put in different refineries.
I think we'll take the last question for this session.
Good afternoon. Thanks for giving us a good insight. My name is Amit Sarna. I am from KBC Technology. I have one question regarding to Dr. Goyal. Since you talked about sector integration and managing the CO2 emissions with that way, like we are working with in Japan with the Japanese government, where they are creating some industrial hub and thinking about some integration of steel, power, and oil refineries and oil and gas petrochemical sectors to integrate all the total CO2 emissions and see potential of coming up a carbon capture kind of a solution on that basis. Is something like this being considered in India at government level, and means any thoughts about that?
I think from the environmental perspective, I think this is the time that we should include first this parameter in the regulatory monitoring network. That is the first requirement. On one side, we have the emissions based on the fuel consumption and the emission factors, but what and how much it is really getting translated in terms of the levels in ambient air. So I think this is a very good aspect that we should, what I was saying in terms of the carbon neutrality of the region or the district, I think that kind of approach should be there. And let us see that carbon neutral is, region means CNR. So it's starting from NCR to CNR. Can it be something like that? And can by 2030, can we think, or 2040 we can think, or by 2047 we can think that NCR becomes CNR, carbon neutral region? So that would be a very positive approach.